Hey, welcome to Inspiration Station, where we build a sanctuary for your creative spark together. I'm Karina Pardis, a composer, activist, chocoholic, and self-care mom, and I'm so glad you're here. This is a place for you whenever you need encouragement or a reminder to believe in you. This episode is about experimenting. Mwahahaha, cue mad scientist laugh. Although creativity is ever present when we manage for it, and it can be applied to everything, it in no way is predictable or stagnant. It is messy and changeable and only works when we play with it. The moment we treat it with the humdrum monotony of work, it ceases to be creative. It just can't happen. So we must be intentional in creating an environment where we don't need to be perfect at creating. We can make mistakes, experiment, and try. Mary Lou Cook said that creativity is inventing, experimenting, growing, taking risks, breaking rules, making mistakes, and having fun. I don't know about you, but when I think about making mistakes, usually having fun is not how I expect to feel when I'm doing that. But it's all about reframing the purpose of mistakes. Being able to see that mistakes are part of this messy creative process can be so helpful to not take it as seriously. It's not a permanent thing. These mistakes in creativity are not permanent. They're part of it. It helps us grow. Like she said, it's about experimenting and growing. We do that through taking risks and making mistakes. Some of the times that I have grown the most as an artist is when I flopped the hardest. And sometimes it's very painful and embarrassing, but that's where I've seen the most growth. Vincent van Gogh said, "Great things are done by a series of small things brought together." It's never just one thing. Creating that was a series of small experiments, little pieces that we bring together into one amazing whole. Sometimes it's important to notice those small pieces. With my piano students, when they are having a hard time, it's usually because they feel like they're not progressing quickly enough, that they're just not learning the song fast enough, or they're not making any progress, but it's because they're looking at one thing, the performability, instead of noticing, I made a mistake right here yesterday and I didn't today. Or instead of noticing that this fingering used to be really difficult and now I can do it smoother. Or this phrasing, or I didn't even know what any of these notes and rhythms were when I first opened up the page to this song, and now I do. Those little parts are so important to recognize. Simon Sinek said, "What good is an idea if it remains an idea?" Try, experiment, iterate, fail, try again, change the world. That iterative process of trying and failing, or maybe not failing, but trying and not liking it, or trying and wondering what else could I do, and trying again. That is what creativity is, because creativity is not a one and done thing. Very much like Simon, I do think that as we do this, we are changing the world. Our art has the ability to change lives, not the least of which our own life, but we should never underestimate the power it has on the lives of those that we share it with. Eowyn Land said, "An essential aspect of creativity is not being afraid to fail." I feel like this is the theme of creating and experimenting, is that there has to be failure before there can be success, or in order for us to appreciate the success. We also need to not be afraid to do it anyways. We can hold our fear and our desire to create in both hands. Don't let fear be the only thing that we hold. And don't let perfection be the only thing that we hold. And don't let expectation be the only thing that we hold. We can hold all of these things in our hands. Although Nora Roberts said, when juggling 55 balls, it's important to know which ones are plastic and which ones are glass, so that we can catch the most important things. Which of those things is most important? The creative process, even if it entails difficulty and vulnerability and failure through experimentation, and success, eventual success through experimentation? Or is the fear glass? Or is perfection glass? Or is it plastic? If you drop it, it'll bounce and it'll roll away and it'll be there later when you feel like you need it again. Although, as a recovering perfectionist, I encourage you to learn to let that one go and roll away permanently. It is hard. I have not been able to do that yet. I always come back to it at some point, but I look forward to the day when I don't feel the need to pick it up again. I believe that the more that we experiment, the more fun we can have creating. The more we try, the more possibilities open to us, and the more we can learn and grow, and the more we can find a way to connect with those that we're sharing our art with. I talk about connection a lot because I think that it's really important. It's something that's so easily lost in the world, but it's what makes living in this world meaningful. And being able to find new ways to create those connections, starting with ourselves and how we create and how we engage in creativity, is the beginning of that process. I believe that mistakes are how we learn and grow. And we can't make mistakes if we're not trying new things. If I created songs the same way every time, I would start making really boring songs. They would not be fun to listen to, and they would not be fun to make. Inviting newness into our lives is an opportunity and a pleasure. Like Simon Sinek said, what good is an idea if it remains an idea? Thank you so much for listening. I'm excited to talk to you again soon. Until then, stay creative. Here in this moment with human needs and growing dreams, there's so much out there in the world. Commercials and billboards are telling you just what to do and asking who you think you are. Which voice will you listen to?